Yesterday, President Trump said in a tweet as well as a news conference that he is in support of the newest stimulus proposal that is going to give a second stimulus check of $1,200 and a potential third stimulus check of $1,200. He also urged his fellow Republicans to go for higher stimulus numbers. In this video, I'll break all that down for you as well as let you know about the newest stimulus check deadline. I'm David, and if you want more fact-based, fast-paced style videos, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more to-the-point stimulus updates. Let's get right into it. Yesterday, President Trump tweeted, "Democrats are heartless. They don't want to give stimulus payments to people who desperately need the money and whose fault it was not that the plague came in from China. Go for much higher numbers, Republicans. It all comes back to the USA anyway, one way or another." So President Trump urging his fellow Republicans to go for higher numbers and bashing the Democrats as usual. But I think the biggest takeaway here is he is telling the Senate Republicans to stop being stingy and go for higher stimulus numbers. Shortly after this tweet, Mark Meadows, which is the White House Chief of Staff, as well as one of the 4 stimulus negotiators and the one who kept it real the most, he said that he is probably more optimistic about the potential for a deal in the last 72 hours than I have been in the last 72 days, which is really good news. What President Trump agrees with and what Mark Meadows is optimistic about is the newest and latest stimulus proposal by the Problem Solvers Caucus, which consisted of 25 Democrats, 25 Republicans in the House of Representatives. I went more in detail upon it the last 2 days. I'll just touch upon 3 points just to give you a refresher. So it's going to give $450 for 8 weeks for unemployment insurance, and then if certain triggers and criteria are met, it's going to automatically give another $600 until the end of January. And then it's going to give a second round of stimulus checks of $1,200 for individuals, and then it's going to give $500 per dependent. And then if certain criteria is met, so it has certain boosters in place, for example, if the hospitalization rates for COVID are high and the vaccines are not distributed or not working properly, then it's going to give an automatic third stimulus check of $1,200 in March 2021. So if these boosters are in place, it's just going to automatically send the stimulus checks without Congress having to vote on it. It completely removes any human voting or error in the process, which I think is genius. Then it's also going to give $500 billion for state and local government. So this is what President Trump and Mark Meadows are optimistic and somewhat agree on. Then right after President Trump made that tweet, it was a perfect opportunity for Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, which are the Democratic leaders, to play politics and go against the Republicans and kind of take President Trump's side. So what they said is, "We are encouraged that after months of the Senate Republicans insisting on shortchanging the massive needs of the American people, President Trump is now calling on Republicans to go for much higher numbers in the next corona relief package." So they are saying, hey, Senate Republicans, your own president is saying go for much higher numbers, which puts the Republicans in a very tough place because we have the White House in support of stimulus checks, the Democrats in support of stimulus checks, but those stingy Senate Republicans, just maybe about 15 to 20 of them, are not for the stimulus checks. They went on to say that we look forward to hearing from president's negotiators that they will finally meet us halfway with a bill that is equal to the massive health and economic crisis gripping our nation. By the end of the week, 200,000 Americans will have died from the coronavirus. The lives and livelihood of American people depend on Republicans abandoning their obsession with doing as little as possible while the coronavirus rages through our nation. Very strong words there. Let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about this statement by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer? Is it going to help the Republicans make more moves, or is it just going to be politics as usual and nothing is going to get done? Let me know down in the comments below. Shortly after this tweet, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell declined to comment when asked about President Trump's call for Republicans to go higher because it is putting the Senate Republicans in a tough place. President Trump is going against his own party, and he's actually for the people, saying we want more money, give the people more stimulus checks. Then a few of the Republican senators weighed in on this as well. I thought this one by Senator Johnson, "The president has his opinion, we have ours." Basically saying that the president is not on the same page as the Senate Republicans. Then Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana says, If a bill is chock full of spending porn, as Speaker Pelosi's bill is, I'm not going to vote for it. Then Senator John Thune says, the top line figure is going to have to stay in sort of a realistic range if we want to optimize the number of Republican senators that will vote for it. So even Senator John Thune and some Republicans are saying that there are Republicans in the Senate, around 15 to 20 of them, that will not vote for any stimulus whatsoever, or at least very limited stimulus. So there's some threshold of the stimulus package before Republicans are on board and will vote for it. But then later on, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said that my sense is that more fiscal support is likely to be needed. He then pointed out that 11 million Americans are still out of work because of the coronavirus, struggling small businesses, and declining revenue among state and local authorities. Then last night, President Trump had a news conference at the White House where he was asked many questions, spoke about a lot of different topics. Then when he got to the stimulus, he was asked about the $1.5 trillion stimulus proposal, which is that bipartisan group Problem Solvers Caucus stimulus bill that's going to give the second and potentially third stimulus check. He was asked about that, and he said, I agree with a lot of it. President Trump actually agrees with this stimulus plan. At $1.5 trillion, it is between the $2 trillion that the Democrats want, $1 trillion that originally the Republicans wanted. It's right in the middle, and it checks off a lot of boxes. I asked you what you thought, and my subscribers, what you thought about this new stimulus bill, and a lot of people liked it. I think it's a great plan. And then President Trump also said, I like the larger amount. Some of the Republicans disagree, but I think I can convince them to go along with that. So I really hope that President Trump can convince his fellow Republicans to go for it. The only problem is there's not enough leverage for a lot of those Senate Republicans who are very fiscally conservative. It's not like a lot of them are up for election, so they can't just say, hey, if you don't do this stimulus, then you're not going to be reelected. They are going to remain in their seat regardless of what happens in the November election. Then later that night, President Trump said, I want to see people get money. I want to see it wasn't their fault that this happened. It was China's fault, So I'd like to see a larger number. Yeah, I would like to see it. There are some things I disagree with, but I'm sure they can be negotiated. It would be a very appropriate thing to release that to the American people, and all we need is the sign-off. So President Trump is saying he agrees with it. He wants to convince the Republicans to agree with this and get something done for the American people. As I mentioned earlier, the newest deadline is going to be October 2nd for something to get done in a fast way, because October 2nd is when the House of Representatives is going on another long taxpayer-funded vacation from October 2nd all the way until November 16th. They are off that entire time. They don't have to be in session. So if something were to be voted on, that is the last day that the House of Representatives and the Senate are in session for them to vote on the stimulus package, and then President Trump could sign off on it. If it is not voted on by then, potentially they could be on call and then be brought in to vote on something, but there's also the continued resolution. So if something isn't done by October 2nd, it's not going to look good. And as usual, I want to keep it real with you. We are not officially getting a stimulus package or stimulus check yet. And that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support and your time. It means so much to me. On my other channel, Wise Vibes, which I just launched the other day, I have my second video out. It's about the one thing that people don't understand about success. Here is a short clip of that video.
The small, simple acts of savoring are how you expand your happiness inside the present moment.
You almost have this power to do whatever it takes to get your brave vision done.
If you want to watch that video that features Mark Cuban, Mel Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Elon Musk, as well as a few other people, you could click this video over here. I would really appreciate your support, as well as your feedback of what you think about this new video that just came out. And also, thanks so much for the support you gave on the last video, my first video on that channel, Wise Vibes. So click that video, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.